All right, for today's video review, we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Studio Series Core Class Ravage from the Bumblebee movie. Now, the last time we took a look at Shockwave from the Core Class, also the Bumblebee movie design, and where that figure was really designed to just be like a little legend scaled, smaller version of that design, even though we haven't gotten a big version of that design yet in Studio Series. Ravage is really meant to be because he's in the core class, he's really meant to scale with the larger figures since Ravage is traditionally a smaller character. And this is really meant to be a companion piece to the Studio Series Voyager class Soundwave, also from the Bumblebee movie, which unfortunately I don't have yet, so I can't show them off together. But Ravage in his little box mode here is really meant to, it's pretty much just a little compact form so he can fit in Soundwave's chest. It's not meant to be a cassette or anything, which makes sense because, this is their designs back on Cybertron, so Earth doesn't really play into the picture at all, so there would be no cassettes. He's really just a compact form of himself that fits in Soundwave's chest. And he comes with a few different accessories here. He comes with these two little bits that are meant to be his little hip launchers, which are pretty cool. And for storage in this mode, we've got two little peg holes right here that they've got a specific way of going. You want to have it so that bit is on top. You just want to plug them in like that, and they fit pretty snugly on the back there, just still kind of fitting within the fuller silhouette of the box here. And this little bit, which I guess is just like a little missile rack that goes on his back in robot mode. For storage for that, you can just fold down the tail, and it just plugs into the bottom here, which will be his belly, and then fold the tail back up, and that fits pretty well. And then this bit, which I assume is just a bit that you can plug onto the end of Soundwave's shoulder launcher, so that he's got his other sort of battery gun. It doesn't really do much for this figure. It's kind of just like obtrusive in both modes. You plug it onto his back here for storage. Now, I'm not sure because I don't have the figure yet, but I assume that this means that he can't actually fit in Soundwave's chest. Like, I assume that he can only fit in the chest without this. I hope that the little hip launchers will fit in there with him, and it kind of feels like they will, just because they fit within that, the silhouette of the box, where this just kind of pegs onto the top. So, it's really just like supposed to be an added accessory for Soundwave, I guess. So it doesn't really do much for Ravage in either mode, but I guess it's cool that they included it because like Ravage already is a slightly smaller figure than we're used to with core class figures. So I guess it's cool to include an extra accessory in him to kind of fill out that price point a little bit. But yeah, for comparisons, the only comparison that I think really matters is here he is with the Siege version of Ravage. I guess this is the Netflix design one, but still, that's what they look like together. And then, you know what? Let me go grab G1 Ravage. There we go, just so you can see what they look like together. Obviously, Earth cassette, Cybertronian box, not really meant to look like each other, but just for sake of comparison. And to get onto transformation, I just generally tend to move these up to where they're going to be in robot mode now. So I just unpeg them and then move them up to the hips just like that. I find it kind of easier when you can just like quickly move it from one place to another rather than like taking it off and putting it to the side and putting them back on later. So then what you want to do is take the front legs here and just unpeg them from the side. There's a tiny little peg in there that plugs into the leg. You can fold the feet up and just move these up and out of the way for now. Take the back legs, untab them, and then fold them out down like that. Take his head, fold it up from the body there. Take the tail, fold it up like that, and then take this whole back section and move it up like that. And then the little piece that the hips are attached to in the back just kind of rotates around and kind of rotates the legs with it, but then you just have to rotate those back in place after, and that kind of locks into there onto that gray piece. You kind of want to get your finger in there and really like lock it in place because it does click in, and then you can just rotate the legs back down, get them how you like them. So he's got the proper animal pose there. And then this little piece on his belly, I mean, you could just leave it there if you wanted to. What you're supposed to do with it is take it from the bottom here, little tiny piece, and then peg it onto the back here. So that's the only part that you kind of have to like move around to a completely different spot. And there you have Ravage in his robot mode. And yeah, he looks pretty good. Nicely proportioned. Definitely looks like he did in the Bumblebee movie with his little sort of alien wolf head design here. In terms of articulation, his jaw can open and close, and his head, just from that transformation joint, can go up and down. He doesn't have like a separate head joint in here. It's just the base of the neck, which that's like maybe the one joint I would like to see, so that you could like tilt the neck up but tilt the head down a bit more, but still works for, especially for such a small figure. The legs here on the front are on ball joints, which, you know, allows you to kind of move them out to the side a little bit, but also just acts as a swivel. And then the knees here are on a hinge there, and then a hinge at the foot. The back legs are also on ball joints, so same kind of deal. And then he's got a little hinge right here, which is really tight on mine, and then a hinge on the foot as well. And then the tail can hinge up and down. So, you know, about as articulated as you need them to be. And then these little bits, since they just peg in, you can kind of angle them however you like. They want you then to like take this piece and peg it into where this was on the bottom here. And that just looks really bad, I think. It was like when we kept seeing like promotional images for this guy, he always had this piece on the bottom there. And I was like, man, I hope that's removable, because that really just kind of messes with the whole look of him. And so it's kind of nice that this is not like necessary in either mode, because it really doesn't add much to this figure itself. Again, I'm assuming this is going to be more for Soundwave, but for now, I'm just going to put it off to the side, because really, you know, it just makes both of his modes look worse or less functional in the case of the box, I'm assuming. So, you know, good as it is. I like his little yellow eyes there. To compare him with some other figures, here he is again with Netflix Ravage and G1 Ravage, just so you can see some little doggos there, I guess catos, because he's really more of a panther. But yeah, he I think proportionally is the best looking of the three. I mean, obviously, you know, he's more of a movie design, so if you're looking for like a G1 style Ravage to go with your Generations figures, I still think this one is the best, even though he is a little bit awkward. I think that this figure gets a little bit more flack than he's due, but I will admit he's not fantastic. But, you know, this is a core class figure. This is an accessory, basically. So, like, I get that, you know, he looks a little bit better. And then the G1 Ravage is always cute, but obviously very, you know, flat from the front. But that's what he looks like with them. Just for fun, here he is also with the Beast Wars Ravage that we got recently. Cool. Here he is with his wave mate, the core class Shockwave. Obviously not in scale with each other, but just so you can see, like, a standard size core class figure, he really is pretty small compared to even most core class figures. Like, he's not quite like Micromaster small, but definitely a little bit closer to that than this, which I guess scale wise is better, because, you know, he'll actually like fit with Soundwave a little bit better, but it does mean that you're getting a little bit less bang for your buck. I kind of wish there was like one slightly smaller size class that he can kind of fit into, but you know, it still works relatively, and it, you know, whatever, it's like what, $11, so it's not that big a deal, but definitely worth mentioning that he is smaller than a traditional core class figure. And I feel like, you know, even though he came with this extra part, he could have come with maybe a little bit more to round out that price point. I don't know, but either way, he's still a nice little figure. And then, you know, I don't have the Voyager class Studio Series Soundwave yet, but here he is with the Netflix Soundwave, just so you can see what they look like together. And, you know, that scale works relatively well. I'm assuming that Voyager class Studio Series Soundwave is going to be about this guy's height, so cool to see them together. But yeah, not much else to say about this figure. I mean, he really is meant to be a companion piece to that Soundwave figure, so I feel like I'll get more enjoyment out of him when that figure comes out, or when I get that figure. He's apparently already showing up in stores, but I have not seen him, and I just found these guys at Walmart. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all there is to him for now. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and without further ado, here we have Transformers Studio Series Bumblebee Movie Ravage.